Wednesday. Hope everyone's doing really well. Tanya here with Adventures for Connection in snowy North Vancouver, which we don't often get here. It's been snowing for a few days now. So grateful that I was able to get up and play in the snow. Jade came up with me yesterday and we got to play on a few runs just to put some joy in, right? Lock some joy in. So, what have you done this week to lock some joy in? To have those little memories you can just close your eyes and go back to. What do you do to bring a little more joy about? For joy is a good set point, so to speak, to work on self and to shift self. Hi, Kriba. Hi, Shay. And lovely Carolyn's in the background supporting us. So, what are you guys doing these days to lock some joy in with so much chaos going on in the world? How do you find your inner peace? What do you do to shift your energy? For me, big things like getting out and doing an event like that, getting out to play or going for a hike. At some point, where were we? Oh, we were doing the light walk on Sunday. We were also up Grouse. So we got some seasons passes just to go up and down. And it was like under $200 for the whole year. So really good deal because Jade was hadn't been turned 19 yet. Laughing at the chaos. Beautiful. Yeah, I haven't even really been paying attention. So there was a funny on the radio. I'll get to that in a minute. But as we were leaving up at Grouse, you could see where the lights were, and we were at the lift, and we were waiting in a lineup, and all the little snowflakes were like little shots of light because they were being hit by the lights underneath where the tram was. And Jay and I just sat there memorized. I'm like, light codes. So it's finding those little joy in every moment. What can you find as the observer that you are to lock a little more joy in? Been watching the birds a lot in the snow. That's been really, really fascinating. Yeah. Resting, sleeping a lot. Sleep is always good. Yeah, I attempted to have a nap before this, but I didn't get to. Yeah, the snow light is so beautiful. Light codes come on the snow, in the snowflakes, sometimes in the rain, definitely off the ocean with the sunlight. And given that the sun is a portal and is the light, we can garnish and garner so much from the sun. It's so giving freely. There wouldn't be life in nature on this planet if it was not for. Yeah. Yeah. At work, I stress between classes to refresh my mind and body. How about we say we rest? You must be saying something else because I can't see how stress would help. Yeah, you've got a very important job there working with students. That's you're holding a lot of energy, so to speak. So my heart goes out to you for sure on that one. Quite honored to be able to witness you go through your processes. Yeah, it's a beautiful process. So the sun, and remembering that the sun is the light, it is the giver of life. In so many ways, it provides sunlight for the plants to photosynthesize. Look at yourself in a very similar way. Can you imagine always being in the dark, never seeing the light of day? I can't. We kind of live by the light, right? The light guides us in and out. And then that moon, the night, is that time to rest, reset, maybe go through some emotions, for the moon is emotions. And so we have this balance between the two, not unlike the yin and yang. We need that duality. There will never not be some sort of duality here. It just won't work that way. That's not because look at it this way. So the brighter you shine your light, the more vibrant you become, the more darkness you begin to attract. Think about a dark room that nobody's been in for a long time. And as you bring in the light, you're like, oh, look at all the cobwebs. Look at all the dirt I need to clean out of here. Now, it wasn't visible until the light shone on it, and once the light shone on it, it all started to come into your awareness. It's very similar when you're starting to shine brighter and brighter. You will need to alchemize more and more. You are getting stronger. You are getting brighter. Oh, look, you can handle more. And we do. We're so resilient. We're so able to move through things much smoother than we did, say, even a year ago or 2 years ago. And I just want to make sure that you remember to have gratitude for that. Because I know I'm so grateful as I've gone through many trials by fire. As did a little video on that yesterday. Um, in a way, it's as you expand, you get brighter, you your consciousness expands, and you'll hit this edge, and the edge is unstable, right? So it vibrates a little differently. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I can hold it anymore. I don't know if I can stay. And then you have to climatize where you are. So it's a pause. This is why it's not a upward trajectory like this. It's like this. It's like this. It's like this. It's a journey, and it's all about the journey. And we've been so brainwashed and trained to be focused on the destination. Well, if you're just focused on the destination, you're going to be disappointed when you get there because you missed the whole journey, which was the best part. We have to remember that. And as we go into new journeys and new ways, and so as I go through this process of launching more retreats again after going quite quiet for a while to work on self, to rejig, and hello, Patty, good to see you. When we go in, we're talking in Egypt, like it's going to include a membership for a year for an Egypt group to go through together and learn all about the goddesses there and the energies of that and get to know their energies more, and not just before but also after. So now it's about the journey much more than about just this week together or these 10 days together. And for me, that's super critical because I've done those. I've done a weekend retreat and was like, wow, that was disheartening. Even for Sedona, we'll be connecting and getting together here shortly, probably in March, to be realistic. So, a whole month before, we're gonna start to tap in and connect. So when we get there, it's be like, yay, we get to meet a person, right? Gives it a very different energy than everyone just coming together in a new point and then needing to adjust and get to know each other. So we're gonna bring that in beforehand. So this is something. It's I don't even want to call them retreats. Need to figure out what to call them. Hello, Miss Cindy. Because they're not retreats. We're not retreating from anything. We're getting to know ourselves better. It's almost like it's an expansion, activation, celebration, solutions. I'll come up with something. Yeah. For when we all come together and we amplify that even more, it's really, really profound. And so we also do that in our membership as we all get to know each other, and more is shared, more is open. Soul venture. Good one, Carolyn. I like it. Absolutely. Shay, 3 of Cups. More to come on that one. There's something going on with threes right now, and yeah, and some remote viewing. So only when we get quiet can we really tap in and check out more. And hello, Miss Rhea. Good to see you over in Australia. Australia's in the house. Yeah. So, it's only during these quieter times when it's colder out and going outside at a certain time, and I'm going to curl up a little bit more and maybe just watch the fire and just sit with self. Or maybe you have something you're trying to resolve, and I've learned that just thinking about it and thinking about it and, like, mulling it over and trying to fix it that's kind of an old model. Now it's like, write down some pros, write down some cons. "Hey, can I have a solution for this, please? Please present me with a solution to resolve this." and then act as if it's already done. Oh, there, I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm so grateful. I've got a couple of those right now, knowing that I run a couple businesses. And so it's like, okay, show me, guide me, piece of mail comes in, letter about this. Okay, show me, guide me. Absolutely. Ah, Vajra. I don't think I know that. Weary Bunny, do tell. Do tell. Share a little more. I'd love to hear your perspective on that. Vajra. I have heard of it before. I'm trying to recall. We were just talking about the monad, not nomad, monad, the magenta pink, which is all I see when I close my eyes. So, doing a little more, I'll do a little video separately on that. So, I still didn't hear how you guys are updating yourselves, upgrading yourselves. That's right, the trident. Thank you. Yes. So, are we talking mind, body, spirit? In aspects. It depends on which one you're looking at. And so as we go through this, can you guys share and share however you like, maybe with some hearts? Because I don't have any hearts yet. I'm feeling a little lonely over here. To let me know, what have you been feeling this week? How have you been feeling this week? I know that we're halfway to another, well, we're just under halfway. So we've got the new moon behind us. We're swinging into that crescent. And the moon was saying hello last night just through the clouds. I had a beautiful shot of it. And as it was coming through, it was like, oh yeah, that moon and those cycles. So that new moon. So this week has really been about setting some intentions. Where would you like to go? What are the seeds that you're going to be planting? Because you just let go of a whole bunch, right? Well, it was a really big purge, wasn't it, on that full moon? Full moons are for purging, new moons are for implementing. And then as we go forward, we shift through, right? There's that implementing and then some integration. So if we follow this cycle a little bit more, even just for ourselves to follow this cycle, to help us to understand our emotions as we go through a month. And so I know Norma Jean's done something really cool that we'll be talking about a membership this evening, to support and guide, as always. And then we can also look at, obviously, what planets are influencing and seeing where that is taking us as far as energetically. Now, remembering that every single one of us has a very unique chart. No two are the same, ever. And whether we look at Hinduism as a way, and I've done I believe it's called Jyotish, correct me if I'm wrong, around some of those stars and asteroids and planets that are involved in that. I know that Hydra, I'm very strong in Hydra for that one. And one could look at sidereal and go, oh, that makes sense. Many things make sense with that. And then one can look at Western and go, oh, yeah, that makes sense too. And the Western one, I know that it's, see, we look at the equator. I'm the equator. Literally, I am the equator when I sit this way. And we look at the chart in sidereal. And so I found that really fascinating because that's that flat point, that balance, that ability, how connected I am to Earth, how grounded I am, how we are able to alchemize, and then what are we influenced by? And there's some pretty strong, even asteroids in the asteroid belt. And so all of these influence our energies, and they are energies. And if you can recognize them when they're coming around again, it just gets so much easier. And we were discussing this the other day too, that circle. And you are the middle of the circle. And so depending on your vibration and the frequency you're sending out depends on how magnetic you are, and depending on whether you're positive, negative, or in the middle, exactly what you're bringing into your field. Knowing that no matter what, you're always going to have some shadow stuff. because that does need to be alchemized. But as you alchemize that, you get brighter, right? So now you can look at an opportunity when something comes your way. Oh, interesting. This is coming at me right now. I must need to clear this and alchemize it. And then you have another perspective. And when you have that other perspective, it gets so much easier to the point where it's almost like riding a new bike and you're like, oh, I got this. I got this. I got this. No matter what comes at me, I'm going to just stop, breathe, and observe. I'm not going to react. I'm going to wait. I'm going to respond. Oh, interesting. That's happening right now. And then even let it rest. I have a pile of stuff that I'll be like, just going to let that rest right there, right? Depending on what it is and where it's coming from. And I don't react to any of it. And I wait and I respond. And a lot of the time, things get resolved on their own without me doing anything. But specific childhood memories have been coming up. Specific teenage memories have been coming up. And it's like, okay, thank you. Yeah, brighter light inevitably attracts darker darkness. We actually invite the darkness to amplify our light. Yes, yes, absolutely. And Carolyn saying, I need more input on all that, even to be aware enough to feel it. Yes, absolutely. And we've got some of that for you. So we've been getting more information out there regarding the planets and the energies. And I just think no matter what, if one just focused on, I'm feeling off. Why am I feeling off? I don't know. Well, let me look at my chart, and you can do it by the day. And this is for Western or sidereal, whatever you choose. What I still get that Western is the matrix. It's where we are and where we're focused on at the moment, but still can have a broader perspective. And so, and each sign is like part of, so the equator is this way, each sign is specific degrees on the grid that goes around Earth. And so as we go through them, just even knowing where is the sun, where is the moon, and then what planet highlights do I have? And yes, actually, Carolyn, I do owe you a gander at your one chart so I can look at that and go through that with you. Yeah, absolutely. Kriba, I missed this one. I'm just going to go back up for a second. Going down memory lane, thinking to purchase some flash paper, write down anything I wish to let go of, burn and release. Yes. I love burning it. And yes, wear money. Absolutely. You know, there's so every religion, when you go back to the root, has gods that they energies that they followed, so to speak. So we've been, yeah, you can go back to the root of all of them. And even when we were in Greece, our boat captain, who's Greek, studies Greek mythology and was like, oh, everything you're saying is on point. So da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, you go back to the root and they're all saying the same thing from different perspectives. So it's quite fascinating. And I don't know who Elon the actor is right now, but yeah, good for him for having a trident, I suppose, for now. Let's see what happens next. Yeah. Lots of past memories. Yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely. Jade's had a big purge this week too. And she's 19. She's going through the, oh my God, I'm adult. I have to take care of myself now. Enter the void. I've been making a lot of new affirmation cards to put around my space, swapping outdated mantras. Yay! Yeah, if you don't change, nothing will change. Absolutely. Imagine that some people think a God made them faulted and that there's nothing they can do to change it, so they don't work on themselves. That's part of the programming. Yes. Thank you, Witchmaster. I like that, Witchmaster General. Annie, hi. Great advice. Observe and respond when is needed calmly, and sometimes nothing is required. Yes, absolutely. I'm so grateful you guys are here. Yeah, feel free. Any questions you have, go ahead. You can also, if you want questions to be more private, on the website, Adventures for Connection, right there.com, there's a contact us form. You can ask any question anytime. Oh my God, I need to ask Tanya this. Punch it in there. punch it in there, and we'll answer it, whether it's on a Sunday or it's on today. So we will definitely answer those. Draw for the newsletter is coming up on Sunday. So if you haven't signed up for our newsletter at the same address there, please do. Yeah, lots always going on. We don't spam, and we would really love to connect with you. And you get a free draw for a one-on-one with me. Move to a heavy desk at work. Yes. Smile like a sunflower. Yeah. Yeah. I do that all the time. Yeah. Sunshine. Yeah, absolutely. And we've even had 2 ravens visiting us quite a bit. They're up in the trees generally. They don't come down to the ground, but they started like landing in front of my place, which is interesting. So I definitely gave Janine a little picture. Look who showed up here, sending ravens. Yeah. So what's showing up in your reality? What are you being shown these days? There's also these beautiful birds. I can't remember what they're called. Maybe they're not starlings. Scarling? No. They have yellow bellies, and they sit down in the snow and they're like picking in there. They've been hanging out. Absolutely. Carolyn, a raven in my neighborhood as a child always landed on my head. No one else but mine. Yeah. They're known to be very spiritual. And every time I try and lift and take a picture with my phone, they take off. I'm like, oh, they don't like the paparazzi, Norma. So sometimes they're a little bit shy, and that's okay too. And Shay, that's beautiful. Being present and seeing new opportunities. Yes. Logan, holding space, waiting in peace. Yes, absolutely. As we go through this, we're so used to being able to manipulate our reality ourselves. As I bootstrap Powell painting to what it is now, I just made shit happen, but to my detriment. Like, it was depleting on the energy to the point where I ended up with adrenal fatigue. But I did it, right? Because that's what we thought we had to do. And so it takes great grace, love, patience with self to attract versus chase, to allow you to work on your frequency and vibration and flow versus show, right? So to be in flow state versus I got to do this, I'm just going to lead it. And now there's definitely some things I have to go and do appointment wise, but it's quite profound to have that difference. And as we go through this more and more and more, we're only amplifying ourselves further. The photon belt's still going strong. Solar flares have been off the charts. Earth's vibrating more. Weather patterns. There's still lots going on. And I don't see that change. This year is a bit of a shake-up year for that. Yeah. Sometimes we need to undo. It's a great lesson that is learned. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and it's very interesting, even bridging 2 businesses and pulling out of social media the way I have, because I'm like, not giving it that much attention, intention. It's just taking energy. And when you look at the stats, and so that's what I'll follow more now, is following the stats of what is going on energetically. I'm attracting versus chasing anything. Yeah. Thank you, Shay. Shay says my vibration is very strong today. Yeah, I'm ramped right up. I'm just vibrating high. I couldn't even nap before this. So I was like, okay, so we did some inner child work instead. I have this one specific little outfit that I always show up in. Okay, no problem. We can do this. And even just resting is sometimes enough, right? Enter the void, endeavoring to slow down more and be present in my body during mundane activities like brushing teeth. Yes. Jay just had a big visit to the dentist. Yes. Which leads me to just gently tap into those of us that are circuit breakers, the black sheep, whatever you want to call it, that have come in and really took a lifetime of not being good enough, being beat down for being different, but still stood in our power and are now realizing why. And so I've done a ton of lineage cleanup on my mom's and my dad's side. And then in doing that, I'm supporting Jade. And it's in default, it shifts her because everything's just vibration. So when I shift that vibration, other timelines, all of that vibration shifts both. We can call it both ways, but energetically for Jade, but I forgot about her dad. I was like, oh, yeah, he's not doing any of the work, so to speak. And that's okay. He's just being himself. So, definitely some genetic mouth teeth issues there. Um, and so we're tapping into more of that. But she also had braces, and I didn't know better when I did it because you just did what you were supposed what you thought was best for your child in that moment in time. Far too young. When she was little, she was premature, so she has weak enamel to begin with, but she had so many all her teeth were weak. She ended up having a bunch of teeth pulled. And so she's had like kind of mouth trauma after mouth trauma after mouth trauma. And I'm like, it's time to like break this circuit, honey. And so, it's been a really emotional moment for her to actually sit in that dental chair again and actually listen and take in and absorb. And so yesterday when we left, she definitely had a bit of a release. And I'm like, it's all right. This is part of it. I know how you feel. I've, I've had some issues at some point, and I know exactly that, I wish I did it differently, but I didn't. So therefore, this is where I am. Yeah. 4 years you had them on. Yeah, I had braces too. Not only that, I had Invisalign as well. Your teeth shift back unless you wanna keep that plastic retainer in your mouth. So, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I get it, we wanna straighten teeth, but I think there's other ways. There's other ways. So, that's why we went up the hill yesterday. Jade also hadn't been skiing in 4.5, 5 years. She's like, "Well, when I went skating, I didn't feel like I was very good, and I thought I'd be good. I'm worried about skiing." And I'm like, "No, you're gonna be just fine, watch." And she was. And she had such a big smile on her face that we went from a really low, dense morning, moving through that, we're doing some releasing, and then going and playing. And so, this is why I say it's up to you to shift your energy. Don't rely on somebody doing it for you, but took Jade having the strength because she's like, "No, I'm not gonna go, I'm just gonna stay home." I'm like, "I really think you should come with. I think you should come up the hill, Lenny." "Oh, okay." And so then she was quite nervous-sighted, and I kept saying that, "You're just nervous-sighted, don't worry about it." And she did great, and she had a great time. She's like, "Oh, I miss this." Yes, miss the fresh air, the trees, the sky, the view, the feeling of that movement of, moving with earth and being on something that slides. There's nothing like it. It's like it's even if you're on a toboggan, like, I got we were cheering kids on going to the dentist because there's a really, like, not very steep hill, but it was really, really long, and you could see these kids going down and having a great time, and it just kept going, and I was like, "Oh, that's a great track." And then, we talked about, "Oh, it would be fun to come and ride this." So, it's doing things even though you don't feel like doing it, sometimes pushing yourself to do something that brings you joy. Like, it's really hard to leave here at night and go to the pool and put on a suit and go in the sauna, go in the steam, and go for a swim. But I always feel better afterwards. So then I focus on that feeling. I'm gonna feel so much better if I just go and do this, even though I don't want to in this moment, right? It's like the mind says this, and I say, "Oh, but I'm gonna focus on that feeling afterwards," and it makes me wanna go do it. So let's just do it, right? Like, do it now. Don't wait, just go do it. Yeah, absolutely. Logan says, "Working on my triggers and staying disciplined." Good. Yeah, and Witchmaster says, "Joy equals life." Absolutely. I mean, we're all here to enjoy. There's no other reason to be here. We make it all way more difficult than it is. Yeah, you may have a bit more of a mission, but maybe it's just to play with the senses, smile a lot, laugh a lot, get creative, express yourself. We take it all way too seriously. I got to do the inner work. Well, then you go on the inner work wheel, dig, 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 dig. That becomes a loop too. So, in order to not be in a loop, one needs balance. So, yes, a little bit of discipline, a whole lot of fun, joy, creativeness, playfulness. Yeah, I put birdseed on my deck table so my cats can enjoy the party. Nice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I put food outside all the time for the animals. Even the we get a little mouse that lives under one of our planters, and there's a rat that's his hole got dug up last night, so but he's okay. I think he's got a whole root all the way under there. We are just curious what dug it up because don't does anybody know, do skunks hibernate through the winter? I thought skunks hibernated. I never seen a skunk in the snow. I always thought they hibernated. Same with raccoons. Don't they hibernate too? Anyways, random thoughts. Yeah, they do. Okay. So I don't know what was trying to dig this out. Maybe it was a cat. Who knows? Okay. Why don't we take a few minutes and let's do a little tap in. Not all raccoons. Well, here in Vancouver, I would think that it's never cold enough for them to, but maybe sometimes. So who wants to just relax for a minute? Take in some good vibrations. Hmm. Get yourself grounded. I was seeing a fellow today who does oh osteopath. Yeah. He also does puncture and is registered for that. But what he was mostly doing was like cranial sacral stuff. Yeah. And as we were talking about that, I was saying, well, what about my crown of thorns? I wanted to see if he could like tone it down. Aw, thank you, love. Appreciate that. He couldn't tone it down. So the vibration's super strong on my head right now. So we all are supported. Ah, am I merely just a dream of spirit? It depends on what your definition of spirit would be. So in my experience and from what has that is confirmed for me to be true, and we all have our own truth. It's like we have an oversoul and you're in many places all at once as that oversoul. And each tendril is another avatar. And your soul is the energy that runs this avatar. It is the spark. And there is God that birthed us all, so to speak, divine source of all, whatever you choose to call it. Many people have many different words for it. And our mission is to remember who and what we truly are. And to me, this life can be considered like a dream, just like our dreams often feel quite real. So I would say you're more than just a dream of spirit, in my opinion. You're part of the divine source of all. You're important. Your perspective is as unique as your thumbprint. And this is the only dimension that we get to manifest in, play with these senses, connect like this, talk like this, have new experiences. Things like going up in a hot air balloon, or swimming in the ocean, or swimming with the dolphins. It's whatever you choose. So maybe you're invited, if you would like, to close your eyes and just take a few minutes. And black squirrels around the neighborhood. Yeah, we have black and gray. Hello, Norma. And let's go on a little adventure and let's just clear some thoughts and I'll give you a little work through to do. So just close your eyes and take that breath in the nose and out the nose. Remembering this breath is like a Fibonacci, sacred geometry, and you calm the vagus nerve if you breathe out longer than you breathe in. Just imagine that you are surrounded by loving energy and you're inside a womb. You came in through a womb. Everything you need is already there and you have access to it. And as you observe any thoughts coming up, imagine it like a digital banner outside of the womb, but you can read it and it's just running across there just to be observed. For it is only when we attach to these thoughts that we manifest the thought. This is why we always recommend being the observer of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So as we sit in this loving womb, can you focus on your breath? And as those thoughts go by, oh, interesting, I'm thinking like that, or thinking about that. And maybe, just maybe, these thoughts are not even all your thoughts. Remembering we have a collective consciousness, and like the waves of the ocean, there's waves of thoughts. Think iCloud, and they're floating along. It's only when you attach to one and bring it in and then mull it over does it start to infect you, good or bad. But you're not doing anything wrong. You're just being human. But the more you can observe and the less you attach, the lighter you feel, the easier this gets. You can dream a little bigger. You can shift your direction on your compass of life. Your emotions are your compass. They're telling you where you're at, right? They're giving you a read on the body, the temperature, however you choose to look at it. So they're energy in motion. How do you feel when you have that thought? Good or bad? It kind of lets you know what to do with it. And don't be afraid to flick a thought away. Oh, yeah, delete or chuck it in the fuck it bucket and allow new thoughts to come in. Replace it with one that you do want. As things speed up, for time does not really exist anyway, this will get easier and easier and easier. You will be able to up-level faster. Remembering it does take some clearing out of the old to make room for the new. Whether that may be in your physical space, your mental space, or your energetic space. What are you hanging on to thinking, oh, I just can't let this go yet? Knowing that once it's let go of, that it could be a huge transformation on the other side. And the more you practice letting go, the easier it gets. The more room for joy you make. You are creating your reality. And then we do have a collective consciousness that is hanging on to many old things, creating a wee bit of chaos out there. And chaos is just change. We're ripe for change. We're ready for change. Those of us seeing the change are being the change we wish to see. Mhm. Hello, Phineas. And in being that change we wish to see, we go out and we shine a wee bit brighter and lighter. I must have somebody Irish is with me today because I don't know where all this little accents are coming from, but that's funny. It's cute. It's Saint Bernard. Okay. So there is a Saint Brigid, Brigid. She assists in bringing abundance from the energetic field in and manifesting it into this field. So interesting that she's coming in and it's showing up as a little Irish accent on me and little words that are very Irish. Ah, very cute. All right. And so as you sit in this womb, can you feel your heartbeat? Remembering your heart is really a vortex. Everything's a vortex, everything's a spiral. That's how you get everything you desire. And as the energy is being shifted and the vortex is vortexing, mhm, it's cleansing your field. With every breath in, you fill your lungs. You have more hairs on the bottom of your lungs that flood oxygen into your body than you do if you shallow breathe. Think about how a baby breathes. In and out of the nose, fills the belly, and releases. Now imagine as you're in this womb that as your heart's pumping and you're breathing, it's clearing and cleansing your entire field from top to bottom. You are an incredible spark. We're so grateful you are here to join in and enjoy your experience in this avatar. As we peel the layers of the onion off that have been holding us back, you may need to release tears. And as Shay says, tears are the windshield wipers of the soul. Just think energy release, anything to move energy, tears, crying, walking, drumming, yoga, qigong. Qigong's a beautiful one for that. Skiing, biking, alchemizing, say cleaning, cooking. All of this is shifting energy. And so when one feels a little discombobulated, one can go ahead and alchemize and shift and clear and cleanse their field and have gratitude that you have the capacity to do this. And remember, look how far you've come. Oh my gosh, when I think back to being a child and how uncomfortable I was within this vessel, wondering what the fudge, what is this place? What is going on here? Why is it like this? But my set point was reject what didn't fit, reject what didn't fit, reject what didn't fit. And in doing that, standing alone and coming out stronger and stronger each time. And, I don't give a flying F what anybody says or thinks of me. And so I invite you as you're in the space to remember how powerful you are and that someone else's opinion of me is none of my business. I cannot control what others think of me. It is not for me to control. Shay seeing a physical heart pumping through her veins, such a warm feeling, beautiful. Yes, Phineas, I get it. Absolutely. And dream a little dream. Can you visualize where you would like to be and how you would like to feel? Shay, all right, let's bring it in. Let's do this together for Sedona. Sedona, Arizona. Now, we're going to stay outside of Sedona in somewhere called Munns Park. I chose the property based on intuition with a beautiful creek, a private, quiet area. Any of you who've been to Sedona know that Sedona itself is quite intense, and I love to visit a place like that. It's like being in Egypt and being at the pyramids, but having an oasis to go back to at the end of the day or going downtown. So I have this desire to have a very stable, calm, beautiful, peaceful landing point for all. And as I think about Sedona and the beautiful energies there, and the oasis of the red rocks, the night skies are stunning. The desert will be warm in April when we go. Not too hot though. And I've been there when it's hot. I've been there in August. It's hot. Or was it September? I think it was September. And just tapping into feeling the warmth on your body and this really supportive, loving energy, laughter, joy, and the feeling of the red dust between your toes. Different trees, different critters. I love exploring new places, meeting new faces. Who might we run into, so to speak? Just like the other day when I went into a cafe and ran into someone I hadn't seen for a couple years, there are no coincidences. There's always a time and a season and a place for connections. And there's some beautiful creek beds, waterways also in Sedona that we'll visit. Like little kids who don't wanna go inside at night, that are outside, that exploration, the pure joy of the unknown, the not knowing, the excitement. Ah, Cindy, we may see you yet, huh? The excitement of something new, the excitement of the unknown, that exploration as a child. This is how I look at life. For I was one of those kids that stayed out until it was dark, as many of you were. I'm reminding you that childlike wonderment. Lock that feeling in. This is the feeling we all deserve all the time. And how well you slept. Not a care in the world. No stress. Just free, free to be yourself for the pure joy of it. For your mind does not know the difference between what you perceive as reality, perceive, project, your imagination, or a movie. So if you got somewhere you want to visit in the world, start watching travel shows on it. Start watching movies. Start programming yourself for what you do want. So use it to your advantage. The red sand holds messages. I'm sure it does. I ran around barefoot a ton in Sedona, which, yeah, I'm sure. All right. You get to create your reality. Create wisely. And when you're ready, you may stay here. You can wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers and come on back. Does the true love of your life ever treat you like they are your angry boss? Well, that doesn't sound like true love to me. Depends on what you consider true love, I suppose. Yeah, angry boss doesn't sound like true love to me. Getting my finances in order by April would be the goal. Beautiful. Yeah, if you just start watching, like, I'll post some more videos on Sedona, um, and start watching some, like, travel shows and pictures. Like, I was looking at reliving part of my last trip there and the birthing cave, and we went to Devil's Bridge, and I jumped over this space, and everyone thought I was crazy because all the tourists were at another end posing, and there's me at the opposite end jumping over an opening, and they're all like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, you're all down there. I'm just gonna jump over here." Rock climbing background. I wouldn't expect everyone to do it. But it's just really beautiful. Cathedral Rock is beautiful. Oak Creek is beautiful. There's so much around that area to create. So absolutely. Just so excited to connect and enter the void. And Shay, let's chat a little more in our meeting tonight. I'm going to be on with you guys. Carolyn's been drawn to watch airline flights on YouTube. Cool. So just getting on the plane, or are you actually going somewhere? So I'm just making sure I'm getting this right, because the plane's just the portal. You want to get to the destination. You could be on planes full time. I mean, people do that on cruise ships, right? Yeah. So yes, Cindy, reach out too, because if your dad's in Munns Park, then absolutely. You're more than welcome to come and say hello. I'd love to give you a hug. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful to be here today. I love you. Go enjoy the rest of your evening. What time tonight? 5:30 Pacific time. So right now it is in 35 minutes, love. 35 minutes is the membership connection, whatever we want to call it. We're going to rename it, I'm sure. So, yeah, that's part of the mentorship. We get on a couple times a week. Then to walk in true love, we have to never be the angry boss to the people we love. We have to be the happy servants of love. There we go. Nice, Witchmaster. Thank you for sharing that. I was like, angry boss and true love do not go together. I don't even want angry boss. Yeah. Go spread